I want to talk to you about skill gaps. That's what we're talking about all this month, is assessing your business, because it's so important to stop what you're doing for yourself, how far you've come, and where the gaps are in your business. So let's look at skill gaps. So the symptoms that you might be feeling when you have a skill gap is that you are struggling to get things done. You may be procrastinating and avoiding doing things because you have this skill gap. So I don't know if you've looked at my procrastination workbook, or if you've taken my Procrastinators Emergency Rescue Kit course, little mini course. Actually, I've redone it, and it's going to be available very, very soon again, and it's upgraded just a little bit for you. But anyway, what I was getting at was, it's really important that you recognize those skill gaps, because if you're procrastinating, it's usually one of three things, right? Skill gap, a skill set problem, a tool set problem, or a mindset problem. And often mindset problems can be caused by a skill set or tool set problem, right? Or a deficit in those areas, right? If you don't have the skills, you get anxiety, you start having mindset issues, imposter syndrome, all that stuff, right? If you don't have the right tool, you might think, oh, I'm just not good at this, when really it's just you have a bad tool, right? You wouldn't try to paint your house with a wrench, right? And you wouldn't try to change the oil with a saw. You'd use the right tools and everything becomes easier. Any mechanic would tell you that, right? So you might be overwhelmed by tasks. You might be avoiding, procrastinating if you have a skill gap going on, right? The other thing that you might be having is you might be telling yourself things like, I'm terrible at that. I have a degree in math. And every time I told people that I was majoring in math or that I have a degree in math, their first response would be, oh, I'm terrible at math. Well, that is just a mindset problem, right? And you're actually creating a blocker for yourself that makes it really hard for you to get over. And then you start feeling stupid, and all those stupid tapes play in your head. And then you are back to procrastination, right? And so that is what we want to look at. So let me look at my notes here and make sure that I'm covering the areas on symptoms that you might be feeling, right? You might be feeling like your progress is being stalled because you have a skill gap problem, right? You're avoiding something, so your progress is being stalled, and you could be having missed opportunities because you're not taking the time to fill that gap. And I get it. It's so hard to slow down, especially if you're a spaz like me. It's hard to slow down and learn those things. But that's why in all of my programs, what I teach is to learn as much as you need to get the job done, and then you can fill in skill gaps in that particular area. So think about this. When I was in IT, right, we had to learn different languages. So when I first started in IT, we were using a language called COBOL, and really it was called CSP, and it generated COBOL. But in any case, it was still COBOL code. And then we switched to Java, that platform, and Java, and then we switched to. Then I moved to a different agency, and we were on .NET. And so those are different languages, right? And they're on the server. They're totally different kinds of ways of coding and language and everything. But it didn't matter that we were still learning. We had to do very advanced things with our code, whether we had the skills or not, right? And back then we didn't have, the internet was there and it was helpful for most of it. Well, when I was learning Java, it wasn't as good. But nowadays you can learn anything. And now with AI, you can learn how to code anything, or you could just have it code for you. You could code anything, right? And so the thing is though, we had to do very advanced things. So what we did was we would do our searches, we would brainstorm together, try to figure it out, and then we'd get it done the way we could get it done, and learn the skills that we needed in that language to get the job done. But then later we would try to go in and fill those skill gaps as we got better at it and understood the concepts more and stuff. But that's just kind of the nature of learning on the job, right? That's what you're doing, is you're learning on the job. And so you're not going to come to the table with knowing everything. You weren't born with the knowledge. You have to acquire it. And if you don't have the knowledge how to build a funnel or how to build a website or accounting or all those other things that are not your area of expertise that you are selling to your end client, you have to learn those things or you have to outsource it, right? So it's going to take your time or your money, right? Either way. And your time is money, right? Your time is money. So it's up to you. You have to figure out, I have this skill set deficit. Is it something that I need to fill myself, or would it be better for me to hire it out? And right now you may not have the ability to hire it out. So you may have to learn these things. But if you do have the ability, you could dedicate $100 a month to have somebody help you out. You could get on Upwork and find somebody who's a VA that might have some of those skills, but you have to look and see, right? Because you're going to be looking at $100 a month. You're going to be looking at probably somebody who has probably lower skill, but what they're going to be doing for you doesn't take a lot of skill, right? It just takes time. And then you might have the other one on the other side where it might be expensive because it takes high skill, but it doesn't take that long for an expert to learn how to do it, right? And if you were to do it, it might take you 2, 3, 4, 5 times longer, right? But here's the thing, learning how to build funnels is almost like a critical piece of your business. And take it from me, I've paid lots and lots of money out trying to get help. And most of the time, it turns out that I'm just happier if I do it myself. And part of the reason is because then I have some control and I can build funnels to test ideas, right? I can do those things to test an idea. So I like to have those skills, even if I'm developing them over time. So you don't want to miss those opportunities. And that's one of the problems with outsourcing, especially if you outsource to somebody who has multiple clients, you're going to be waiting in line kind of thing. And you might miss an opportunity just because of timing, and where you might have been able to do that on your own if you just learned the skill, right? So taking time to learn the skill is going to be a really beneficial thing for your business. So why do these skill sets persist? Often it's because we don't prioritize learning. And that's absolutely true. And we don't. But here's the thing, is I think that the days of learning everything up front and then going and trying to implement, going to college where you learn all the concepts and everything, and then you go out in the real world and have experience, I think those days are gone. Especially if you're my age, you might not be thinking you want to go to college again, but really learning how to run your online business is almost like getting a college degree. There is so much to learn. But the thing is that you're just going to learn in little bits and pieces, right? You get into learning how to do a funnel, you learn a basic funnel. You learn the basics, and then you do a little bit more and a little bit more, and you keep adding to your skills by just expanding, right, what you're doing, right? Maybe you build a lead magnet funnel first, and then you build something where you sell a course, and then you have to learn to do a membership site, and you have to learn to do the sales page, and there's all these things that you have to learn. But if you just take it little bits at a time, and then take the time to learn that piece. And a lot of times you can learn it so fast these days with YouTube and the videos that your software itself may be providing for you, right? And then you can often, if you have a paid product, you can get with their help desk too to help you through any issues or anything like that. And you can always ask yours truly, because I can help you out on a lot of those things. I have a really good understanding of how code works. So even if it's not a platform I use, I can usually figure stuff out. So then the other thing is limited time and resources. We all have limited time. Time is money, and it's either going to take your money or your time. And so the longer you avoid learning those things, the longer it's going to be before you can make money on that particular thing that you wanted to do that required that learning, right? And then another thing would be just understanding the skills that you need, especially if you are a startup. If you have just started this and you're like now all of a sudden overwhelmed by all the things that you have to learn and know, and you're not sure what to do, and it makes it really hard to make a decision, right? Because you're always thinking, well, maybe there's an easier way that I'm missing. Maybe there's something else I can do that I'm missing. And so by the time you go explore all that, then you come back to it and you're like, well, I really do need to build a funnel. Even if you just want to be on TikTok Shop or on TikTok and sell from TikTok, your coaching programs or whatever, you're still going to have a funnel for somebody to go through so that they can self-serve, right? Or you can have book a call type funnel, or you could have just go straight to a book a call form, like a calendar, book a call type thing, right, from TikTok. The problem is that people need that time to get to know you, right? And that's really what your funnel is supposed to do, is it helps educate them on who you are, what you do, who you serve, how you do it, who you do it for, and how you can do it for them, right? So say that 5 times fast. So benefits of doing the skill set assessment is you can identify the gaps, right? And the skill set assessment that I do, I have a course called Take Charge of Your Biz. And in that course, it's got a skill set, a full-on skill set assessment, and it's got a bunch of other stuff, how to do a strategic plan, how to create project plans from your strategic plan. It's really a good comprehensive thing on how to get more organized and be a real business and actually have strategy and have systems and stuff like that in place so that you can thrive, right? And so doing a skill set assessment is going to really help you, one, determine where your gaps are. Two, you can determine if it's something that you are good at and dislike, bad at and like, or bad at and dislike. And that's going to give you some clues about what type of people you should be hiring with what type of skills they need, right? So doing that skill set assessment is actually going to help you create roles and responsibilities in your business, and then job descriptions, right? Job titles and descriptions for the different type of people that you need to hire. That way, when you go to hire somebody like a VA, you're not just like, well, do you have a pulse and do you know how to type on a computer, right? You actually have questions you can ask them and skills that you really need filled, right? So you'll know how to interview them if you do the skill set assessment. Because when you do a skill set assessment, if you're a solopreneur, you're doing it for yourself, right? But if you have a staff, you can do a skill set assessment for your whole entire staff. And we did that in IT every year. Almost every year, we had to do a skill set assessment so that they could see what skills we all had, because they had to put this puzzle together of what resources to put on what projects, right? And you're going to have to do the same thing if you have a staff someday. So a skill set assessment is where it's at. So you can get my full skill set assessment in my course. It's called Take Charge of Your Biz Bundle, and I will drop the link in the comments. But you can also get my little overview in my guide called 4 Powerful Ways to Assess Your Business. Actually, it's 4 powerful ways to evaluate and elevate your business in 2025, but it's not available until the Black Friday that I'm involved with Kristen Robinson. You may know her from JV Collective, and I am participating in that, and that is where you can get it exclusively for the month of November, is in that, and it starts on November 18th. So as soon as I get the links on that, you can drop a comment in there if you want Black Friday, to say Black Friday in the comments, and I get that link to you as soon as it is available to us, so that you can get my my guide. It's ways to evaluate and elevate business in 2025. So that is the idea behind this skill set assessment, is to find your skill gaps. It will help you to identify the roles and responsibilities that you need in your business, even if you're playing those roles. And I'm telling you that understanding the different hats that you wear, it makes a huge difference, right? Because you don't want to be making a decision when you're like the wrong role, right? If you make a decision to spend $10,000, let's say, you want to make sure you're wearing that CEO hat or that finance hat, right? You don't want to be doing that as the developer or the VA of your business. You want to make sure you're doing it with the right mindset, and sometimes understanding the roles and responsibilities of those particular roles in your business. It's going to help you in all the things that you do, right? It'll help you to compartmentalize a little bit more, and then you can more easily see, like, okay, it's time to, and I know who and what skills I need. I know who do I need to hire and what skills they need to have. Okay, I hope that helps. I will drop the link for my course in there if you want to grab it. It's awesome. It's going to teach you all kinds of things, like I've got in there how to use, and my whole boot camp that I used to do is in there, pre-recorded, so you can just do it at your own leisure. And it's quick, it's easy, and it gets you out of overwhelm instantly. Like, I mean, within the videos, you'll be out of overwhelm. And they're not long videos. And then I've got charge of your file system, right? File management made easy. Take charge of your learning so that you can understand a little bit about how to leverage the courses that you already have, so that you don't, they don't, go to waste, right? You know how on a course and then you get off track and you're off doing other things and you never get back to it. Well, my little system helps you keep track of where you were in that course so that you can keep coming back. Because sometimes while you're learning things, you have to learn and then go try, right? And then you need to come back and assess how you did trying, and then go to the next step and try again. And sometimes it can take a little while when you're busy and you're only slating out so much time for learning, right? But slating out time for learning is going to help you a lot, and it helps you kind of, yourself down so that you can do that learning. And then what else is in there? Goodness sakes, take charge of your learning, file management, the Scrum stuff. So that's all management, time management, productivity, getting your productivity up and running. And then we go into doing an assessment, a year-end assessment, and then creating a strategic plan so that you can identify the projects that you are going to need to do during 2025 to get towards your goals of that strategic plan. Okay, I will drop in the comments and let me know if you are interested. And just in case I forget, you can just put in there Black Friday or put it in there Take Charge, and I will drop that link to you or answer any questions that you have. Okay, all right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the comments. Bye.